Welcome to part 2 of the 2023 Draft and Review. Today we will be taking a look at the Miami Dolphins class for this year, and my initial impression is not very good. There's only 4 selections here. I usually don't have that high of an opinion of these classes where basically everything has been traded off. And generally speaking, for some reasonably less than substantial returns here, Miami also forfeited its original first-round pick this year for attempting to tamper in the, multiple violations of the tampering policy in conversation with quarterback Tom Brady, as well as the agent for Sean Payton and Brady. So, really, the Dolphins shot themselves in the foot right off the bat. So, we'll go to their first selection, and that should be cornerback Cam Smith. Pretty much right off the bat, I'm not all that impressed here. There's really not a lot of anything anywhere going on here. He doesn't seem to go very far with the ball in his hands. He doesn't get it in his hands very often. He's not really seemingly involved in making tackles, but though at the corner position, I will say that could be a good thing. Not really involved in stopping the run from the tackle for loss statistic here. No sacks, so you can't really use them in blitzing. So we'll go over here and take a look at this, but I'm not really sure what Miami saw here, just judging from the stat line. And just a brief note here, I really like this channel, criminally undersubscribed. Just Bombs Productions does very good highlight videos. I use them every year and have for the last 5 years. So, here we go.
Williams.
Good job jumping the route there.
Cam Smith read it so well.
Cam Smith was all over that play. You saw Cam Smith, he watched the quarterback's eyes and he stepped right in front of the receiver.
Up top.
Hooker flips it, stabs it out of the backfield, and he
one of his
is
few
chopped
tackles
down
for loss.
immediately by
Though
Cam
he
Smith.
has
Fourth
some
down now.
instinct
Well, he
for it.
looked
You
over the
just got to do that a
sideline
little
and he
more
thought
sometimes.
he had man-to-man coverage, but he didn't. Cam Smith came off a man, so pre-snap look, they showed Josh Heupel from the sideline, hey, we're in man-to-man.
Bazak goes under center. You're going to play fake it, come back near side. Pass is caught and stopped there.
He's had a heck of a start with 51 yards rushing. Uiagalelei throwing the deep ball, one-on-one down there, and it's picked off. That's Cam Smith.
Bit more of a bad throw than anything.
That's an interception for Smith in 3 of his last 4 games.
It's a nice throw. I think it's part of him getting into rhythm.
On the option, he gives it to Pierce. Pierce has got no place to go. He
Good job
loses
getting away from
yardage.
block
Cam
there.
Smith, and then Jordan Birch finished it off.
With Mike Wright's ability to spin out of trouble, kept him quiet. Pass is caught by Smith, lost the football, will fall on it way back at the 20-yard line. He would have been a 4th and about 2. Punting situation regardless.
On 2nd and 9, King nearly picked, and it goes incomplete. Great.
They fully expected to win that football game. You always do, but they felt really good about it and went the other way on them quickly.
Emory Jones throws, and Cam Smith picks it off.
I would say with good coaching, this guy's got a chance at least, but one thing that I haven't really done is I haven't really taken a look at what other corners they've got here, so, okay, practice squad or Jalen Ramsey, they just got a decent veteran presence there. One they're probably at least using for him to have that many tackles in about 4 seasons. Another one that they've at least used to an extent. Practice squad guy. Which, that's probably one I'm going to be talking about in a couple of years. Another starter there. Practice squatter. So, yeah, I'd say that they've got at least 2 starting level guys on this already. Others that have experience. So I'm not really... I could see the need for Cam Smith, but I also don't really see a need for him to immediately step up and start, which could be good for him. And I do believe that he needs a little coaching to succeed at this level. He's not one of the shutdown level guys automatically. But it's just kind of a pick, especially for a second rounder. I would have liked to see a second round pick be a little more impressive than that. So we move along. Next to their next selection, Devon Shane. And, it's not it's definitely not the best stat line I've seen from a running back. Let's just be honest right off the bat. I've seen a lot better than this. But overall, 1,000 yards on 10 games, that ain't bad. So we'll come over here and take a little look at the Dolphins' new running back, see if he might actually have some long-term value to this team, because, real quick, over here, you can see it. They really don't have anything. Salvin Ahmed has had his moment. Myles Gaskin has had his moment. Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson have had multiple moments. But they're just those moment guys, because there's a lot of injuries here. There's no real running back one here. The Dolphins definitely need a running back to step up and stop this mess. You know, they're very much like the 49ers in the sense that this is just... It is very messy. This cannot continue. Oh, shit.
A-Chain trying to change that, and he can quickly. Watch out!
Hang on.
Can he get the block to the end? Trying to change that, and he owns 7. A-Chain trying to change that, and he can quickly.
Oof.
Watch out! Can he get the block to the outside?
Ooh, a little trip there, cost of a touchdown, I think.
Like that.
Goes in motion. Johnson looks for A-Chain out of the backfield, breaks the tackle. Devon A-Chain still running. He'll score.
Good shiftiness on that one. That is something I like seeing in running backs, but whether or not you can convert that to the NFL has been a big thing.
It's a big hole. They won't catch him. Touchdown, A-Chain.
It's A-Chain, and he's got a first down and a touchdown. Texas A&M fights.
Decent balance there to stay on his feet.
15-yard run from A-Chain. Cycle. Keep it on the ground here. A-Chain into the end zone. Aggies take the lead. Their first lead.
Been beautiful thing to start.
A-Chain makes a man miss and then darts into the end zone. Devon A-Chain and the Aggies touchdown. For that South Carolina program to come up with that win. A-Chain, look at the open space he has past midfield.
Oh, if he'd taken that a little wider, he might have been gone.
That we can communicate better. Here's A-Chain, and he finds a huge hole. A first down and plenty more for Texas A&M. The running game going.
So, it's hard for me to say here. I'm not really seeing anything that's necessarily better than what the Dolphins already got, but really, if this guy can just stay healthy and establish himself as the front runner, then this is his job to lose. But like I said, I'm not sure he'll do that. I'm very iffy on this pick. This is one of those ones that either it translates to the NFL and the guy turns into a superstar no one saw coming, or he just turns into another one of the many, many dozens of running backs that sometimes get on the field, sometimes make some plays, but other than that, just you kind of forget they're there because your defense doesn't really have to account for them. So that's kind of how I see it. This is one of those players I really would say is probably going to go absolutely one way or the other. I don't really think there's a middle ground here. There's plenty of middle ground guys in the league. Don't get me, it's like there is a middle ground here. I'm not just stating the obvious in that aspect. So next we go down all the way to the 6th round. They only had 4 selections, and unfortunately 2 of them were in the last 2 rounds. Pretty deep in the draft too. And the 3rd selection is wide receiver Elijah Higgins. And I'm just baffled by this selection. Why pick a receiver? Especially one that isn't really going to amount to much, as we see here. This is not an impressive stat line, especially at a college like Stanford that I haven't really heard of them producing that many quality players as of late. And we come back over here and we go down to the current roster. We look at the Dolphins receivers. You've got Tyreek Hill. You've got Jalen Waddle. These are your top 2 guys. Sure, Tyreek is going to retire, but that's like 3 years off. And then you've got these other guys. Cedric Wilson, Braxton Berrios, Chosen Anderson, even Freddie Swain has done at least enough to merit potentially being in the way of a late round receiver like this. And it just makes me wonder, like, what the hell are you doing? That it doesn't even show him under wide receiver. It shows him under tight end. And I don't really see that being a thing either, even with Mike Gesicki no longer in the building. It's not like they use Gesicki as a tight end, so this just kind of screams one of those players of what the hell are you going to do with this guy? Why'd you pick him? So we'll go over here now.
On the roll. To the outside, it's caught, breaking a tackle, cutting it back. Touchdown, Stanford.
All right, Stanford to work. They're in this game, and there's the big play that they're looking for. Elijah Higgins, and he's gone.
For that next series. McKee pulls it, completes it to Elijah Higgins. Pittsburgh and Tennessee played an overtime barn burner right before us. Elijah Higgins has it as the first.
3rd down and 10. McKee caught.
Requirements sometimes limit the ability in the transfer portal, and it has for Stanford. And McKee converts that 3rd down with it.
Yeah, I don't really know what they're doing with this guy. He does not really look like he's got the stature of a tight end. He is a wide receiver, and I could see him maybe replacing Mike Gesicki. I could see if they're going to play him at tight end, he might be the starter. But it's basically just going to be the same thing that Mike Gesicki was. That was nothing special. This guy does not appear to be anything special. Not really that good of a pick. And finally, we come to Ryan Hayes, which is the offensive tackle they selected. And I was... with offensive linemen, sometimes I'll, set this up before I have it. Well, obviously I set this all up before I start recording, but sometimes I will watch a little bit before I start recording too. And the only thing I really found on Ryan Hayes up here was his Senior Bowl reps. And this guy is just getting pushed around by every edge rusher it comes his way. It ain't pretty. He's getting pushed around by guys that I wasn't that impressed by on draft night. They aren't one of the Patriots picks that we'll talk about tomorrow. I'll push this guy around. I don't like this selection at all. I don't really see a reason for this selection to be made because, yeah, their offensive line isn't a, super elite unit, but it also doesn't need a 7th round draft pick that gets pushed around by mediocre pass rushers. So that is going to do it for this. The overall grade I would bring this to, I can't in good conscience say this is an F, because with coaching and with potential, Cam Smith and Devon Achane might do something in the NFL, but none of this says potential beyond a D. This was not a good class. And if I recall, we're going to go back to 2022 here. Yeah, this is the second straight year they've had a 4-player class, and we're kind of seeing the Dolphins stagnate as a team that is just barely better than the New England Patriots and is not a legitimate threat to the Buffalo Bills. Stop trading all your fucking picks. Especially when you have a quarterback who is one more concussion from retiring. You might want to save some draft capital in case you have to move up and draft a quarterback in the near future. Or make a trade for one. Who knows? Either way, I don't expect Tua to be the Dolphins quarterback for much longer. But that aside, leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to be alerted when I put up new videos, follow me on Twitter, and I will see you tomorrow for the New England Patriots draft class.